Hi, I'm making this video today which is going to be a heads up on the blue in the blue coming tomorrow. Today is Tuesday the 19th of November 2019 and we are at the Epicentre. We are at the crossroads, the whole reason for the Tzol Kin process, I believe. And just to show you where we are on the chart, we are here. So we're at White Cosmic Dog Day, and White Dog is the 10th Mayan sign, and we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 across of 13. So strictly speaking, there isn't a centre, but this is the most central you can get. We're in, as you can see, the blue, and we're just finishing up White Mirror today. The shift day of what's seeking to clear that you have been experiencing in your holographic mirror over the last 12 days. So I'm sure you'll be very aware of repeating patterns coming up, big emotional triggers, super intense feelings, and we've been in Mars in Libra, which is my placement, and I live in the Libra part of the Glastonbury zodiac. So yeah, super amped for me, as it's meant to be. We are where we're meant to be on the planet. And so for me, it's in my 8th house. It's about integration, it's about fairness, it's about coming into balance with masculine and feminine within. It's about justice, it's about liberty, it's about love, and coming into balance with anything that didn't feel like love in your whole life, which is a repeating pattern of your ancestors. And if you decide to map your codes, if you haven't already, and if you decide to go deeper and start to study your constellation, start to focus on your patterns, if you're ready to, then it will blow you away more and more, as it does me, as to this amazing revelation around how human beings evolve in each generation. And the time now on planet Earth is to become really consciously aware of all of this stuff, so that those who are here to get clear and embody their higher self more and more, embody the cosmic codes of the shifts, of the changes, of an end to the wounding in our ancestral line, because we decide to do the work on the inside, the inner alchemy, in order to stop doing it, basically. Really simple on one level, not easy to do, I know. So, White Cosmic Dog. And on one level, this is about unconditional love. And how do we achieve unconditional love? If you're a parent, you may know this through being a parent, that you have a very different experience maybe when you became a parent, and love your child unconditionally. At times we might not like our child's behaviour, but it doesn't stop us from loving them. And when we have deep love for other human beings, and we have an attachment to that as well, it can be very, very difficult to have integrity in relationship. It can be very difficult to be impeccable in our word and act in an impeccable way, because often we develop behaviours around conditioned mindset around how to manage these situations to minimize our emotional trauma or the emotional trauma of one of our family. And this again is what we're learning now, how to go deeper, go much deeper. So today, Mars in Libra shifts and Mars goes into Scorpio. And we've also got other things happening as well astrologically. So we've got Mars is in Scorpio opposite Taurus now. And tomorrow, at the beginning of the new wave spell of Blue Monkey, the blue within the blue, Mercury in Scorpio ends the retrograde at 11 degrees Scorpio. So again, look at how they all marry up, because Blue Monkey is the 11th Mayan sign, and he's all about the inner child who is getting clear, who is healing, and then becomes transparent. And what does that mean? Transparent. It means transparent in all our actions and words, that we don't have a hidden agenda, that we have no fear, that we are free of any wounding, so that how we interact with other human beings every day is from that clear space. So we don't have to revisit old trauma stories. We don't have to keep going through the same old frustrations and trigger points and revisiting the same old ground. Nice position to be in, I know, and it is our life's work. It isn't an instant fix. It takes lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes to get to this space now. And if we're here at this time, then we have been doing this work for thousands and thousands of lifetimes, over and over and over, to come in at this time with the ability, with all the alchemy codes, with all the wiring in order to do this work now. So remember, when we come in to a human being body, we have an avatar, which is our spirit self, and we have a human being, and to marry the two together is the key. The more that we heal the human being DNA, which is what this is all about, this DNA strand, and the more that we can embody our spirit on all levels, and our whole life experience changes. I'm just going to read you the 11 degrees of Scorpio. This is from aquaorfire.net. And so we have Leo Moon today as well, which is a very powerful combination. Scorpio being the death and rebirth process in the 8th house in traditional zodiac, and Leo being the child, and this is traditionally in the 5th house, so mastery of the child. Okay, let's have a look. 11 degrees Scorpio. Gnarled, twisted trees against an overcast sky, seeing the worst, feeling the worst, knowing the worst. In tune with darkness, difficulty, and melodrama, you are sharply drawn to points of view and ways of life that bear the stamp of irony, skepticism, and doubt. There can be a corrosive immersion in cycles of falling for the worst. However, you are closely watched by guiding spirits and allowed to become only so far shadowed. And then a massive corrective action asserts itself, reversing many terrifying patterns. Playing with fire, checking out the dark side of the tracks, but inwardly you seek regeneration and even salvation in the most unlikely places, which in the ultimate reckoning may be the most likely places. Perfect. So we get to a certain point, and those who are here to do the awakening on an experiential level, which is what Uranus in Taurus is all about, not just an intellectual level, an experiential level, to go in and rewire those parts of us that have a belief system and are holding on to trauma. And this is how you can use emotional freedom technique. And please check it out if you haven't done that already. Just Google it, there's loads out there. This is about going into our amygdala and changing our life experience by releasing holding trauma in the emotional mind. So today we have Moon in Leo, and this is really key for me. Again, I have my Mercury at 20 degrees in Leo. Again, this is how you can really start to work with all of this stuff, this amazing stuff that people have done and put out there on the internet. Inside degrees is a channeled work, and you can look up every degree in your natal chart and see your personal story there. Leo at 20 degrees, a black pearl hidden in an oyster, working very hard to find again what is lost, to get at what is conspicuously missing. It takes tremendous inner forces to restore the pearl, but most of all, you must vanquish your pride and acknowledge from the core of your being that going through this world without your deep soul intact is hell. If you seek, you shall find. If you ache, you shall come to a restored wholeness, but not without the suffering, the grief, and the facing of the void. Initiation in the depths. It is a superb path if you have the courage and stamina for it, but midstream it is cauterizing, corrosive, and deadly. Appearances are deceptive. Nothing is as it may seem for a while. What matters supremely is guts and integrity. And absolutely, absolutely, that has been my turnaround in my life, particularly around 2007, when I really shifted at my midlife to connect to my life purpose, which is all about healing. It's all about emotional mind. As a blue solar hand, I'm the 9th Mayan process day of Blue Storm, which is a planetary energy. It's what we're here to do. It's the emotional evolution. And doing this emotional work is tough because we have to look at that part of us that is wounded, the child part of us, and all the patterns around that, and revisit old times in the past to heal them and clear them and be in a place of emotional freedom, in a place of the eye of the storm. My sign is one of the 13 clear signs, which again is in this other calendar up here. And you can check out more about the 13 clear signs on my blog, flowwithjo.com. Just put in 13 clear signs. And that brings me to another point. So we've got a clear sign in the next wave spell coming up tomorrow, which is Blue Monkey. So tomorrow being the 20th of November 2019, we initiate the blue within the blue. So super intense, and all the astrology is matching up now with Mars in Scorpio, with Mercury in Scorpio, and we also have Neptune stationing and then moving direct at 16 degrees in Pisces, another water sign. All our deep sensitivity, again, where that is in your chart is really key. We've been going over old ground with the retrogrades in sensitivity, in our delusions, in our illusions, which again is completely intrinsically tied to our emotional mind and our human being conditioning and our pattern, which is why it's so important to spend time focusing on what your patterns are. Speak to your family if you can, tune in, meditate, check out, do a family tree, become very aware. And if you need any assistance, I'm really good at picking out key codes. That's what I've been doing with the Mayan framework for the past 8 years. I'm in my 9th year now. I've been working with it experientially. Also, my gift is around picking up threads of emotional trauma and being able to map them and assist the person that I'm working with in doing this process for themselves. So people tend to work with me at times when they're needing to create change, when they're stuck. And my key focus, I'm passionate about helping people do that, and also about self-empowerment for them. So teaching them tools to use so they can do this healing for themselves. And that is the key for all of us now, is becoming emotionally intelligent, understanding what our stuff is instead of projecting it out onto other people, healing it, and just coming into the adventure more and more of what we're here to do. Life is very challenging at times, but the more that we get clear, the more we get to experience from a place of grace, from a place of trust, having healed our trust issues, all our deep intimacy issues. This is what Scorpio is about. And in order to really experience deep intimacy, we have to be in a place of truth. So to focus on that truth, again, at the moment we're in the red overtone moon. And so we're in the mastery time of what began on the 26th of July this year. That's one of the circles, one of the cycles. So whatever you were initiating at the 26th of July for 28 days, that was your magnetic moon initiation. That's what you're going to be dealing with. And again, forget your outside stuff on one level. Forget your business or your, your dream, blah, 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 whatever it is. The focus is on you and why you're here and what you're here to clear in this framework. Okay, so the emotional stuff, the shadow stuff. We're in the time of the sixth sun, which is about the shadow. It's about healing the shadow so we no longer project it onto the world anymore. And we're starting the process now because it's time to do that. So how to cross-reference these is, again, just amazing. So red overtone moon now is a planetary energy, okay? And so we have 13-year cycles of red moon, white wizard, blue storm, and yellow seed. Again, I have mapped key dates on my website if you want to go and take a look. And then you can use them. This is the whole point of me doing this, is first and foremost for myself. My blog is all about my own journey. It's all about how I've learned how to map code and what I've been doing in my life and how that matches up. In terms of the cycles that we've been in, you can then marry up what you've been doing during that cycle. And again, I think often for the emotional mind, it's a relief. It helps us make sense of things. We realise we're not going crazy. We haven't gone off on some mad tangent, even though to our conditioned mind self, we believe we have, because we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, what the American dream is. We're doing the American nightmare instead. And I use that because I use that phrase because we don't have the English dream in this country. So in the Western world, it's sort of the American dream. It's the big consumer wow of what you can do if you live in the United States, because it's such an amazing country with amazing opportunities. Realizing also at this time that most of the focus of the American dream is on consumerism. Can't get my words out this morning. And material in an out of balance way. We need some material We need a roof over our head. We need money. Again, this is Uranus in Taurus, what's coming to light around that. We need the grounded, practical stuff. And we need to be in balance with that, without hoarding, without going into needing too much, without thinking that the stuff holds the key to keep us safe. Because the truth is, we're on a spiritual journey, and we will be doing it because we're in the human evolution process. And that's what this time is about. So we're waking up to that, and that is what Red Moon is all about. The Red Moon cycle on the planet was from July the 26th, 2006 until July the 25th, 2019. So what's been happening to you around authenticity, being the beacon of light, and Mercury in particular in your sign, in your chart, and how you've been co-creating with the planetary transits in order for you to embody your God and Goddess self. So check out those dates, check out the big trauma, because that's where the alchemy is. That's where the stuff is, that's where the shadow is, that's what brings the light. That's Blue Storm and Yellow Sun in the Mayan calendar. Pluto is the planet. So in terms of Red Overtone Moon, it is I did a video on it the other day. It is in Red Serpent, and it's the 5th day of Red Serpent. So it's a galactic portal of human evolution. And on the planet, sorry, that was the 29th of October in this particular cycle. So whatever you were doing then. In terms of on the planet, it was 2010. And it was the year that I started coming to Glastonbury. So I've mapped this code. And it was a huge shift for me, because I knew I had to come here, and I was full of delusions and illusions, and they all came to light around primarily my relationship with the father of my children, who is, wait for it, a white cosmic dog. Yes, indeed. It's his Mayan sign today. So 26 years of relationship I have had with him, and we have co-created 2 amazing children, and I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for all the experiences that I've had with him as well, and it's been really, really hard a lot of the time, and it still is. So this, again, this is ongoing. So 2010, came to Glastonbury. It was the 2nd year of my 13-year cycle in my own sign, which is Blue Hand. And I'm now in year 11 of that. Okay, so Blue Hand, when I started learning about the Mayan, I met a man, a blue solar eagle, who came to work with me doing EFT, and he introduced me to the Mayan codes initially, and I'm very, very grateful to him. And it didn't make a lot of sense to me at the time, because it's a totally different language, and I was very focused by then on wanting to go to Glastonbury. That's all I knew. I couldn't really cope with anything else at the time, but the bit that he told me about my own Mayan sign and the cycle that I'd started really, really made sense. So I knew it was important, but I didn't actually start to immerse myself in it until I moved to Glastonbury and began with this calendar up here. That was my first calendar that I bought, and that was in 2011 on the 2nd of November, which was the Red Skywalker wave spell, which again was very, very significant, but I didn't get to know that till a lot later. So 4 years after I bought that calendar, I noticed this little bit on it. Pull it down so I can show you. Okay, so there you go. This little bit here. Because again, how this works is when it's the right time for us to know this, when you start to work experientially with a calendar rather than intellectually, when you start to move the blue tack every day and you tune in and you intuitively know what is the next step for you, what you need to know, what you need to read, where you need to go. Because this is what it does. It synchronizes you with galactic code and shows you your path and your next steps. And in order to do that more and more, the more you get clear of the human being story within you, the more you understand that process. So I've thrown it on the floor now and I need to get it back. Hang on. So there are 13 signs here, clear signs, they are called, and they are on Pakal Votan's tomb in the Temple of Inscriptions in Palenque. So again, you can Google any of that, or again, you can look on my blog, flowwithjo.com, 13 clear signs, and there's stuff about it on there. And so there you can see Yellow Lunar Human. Yeah. And I didn't even know that these were in order either. Just realised that today. And this is it. You don't need to know everything at once. This is how we've been programmed in the West. You don't need to do that. Okay, you just focus on what you need to know, when you need to know it, and let go of the rest and follow your cosmic cookie trail. Okay, so Yellow Lunar Human for me just also happens to be the second year in my 13-year cycle when I came to Glastonbury. So see how it all sinks in. It was on the planet, it was red overtone moon year. And for me, it was Yellow Lunar Human year, and what I needed to get clear of, because it's a clear sign. Okay, so the 13 clear signs, the people who have them, first of all, have got a life story that holds key human being trauma and is very key to get clear of that. So you come into that clear space. And generally speaking, whenever these days come up, so this will be on the 21st of November when this day comes up, to work with awareness consciously, to really look around at what's happening to you as a human being. In particular, what's happening to you within your body, because Yellow Human is all about the Philosopher's Stone. And when it's a lunar, it's all about what shadows, what's veiled, what's coming up for us to really come into clarity now, so we can be working to let that Kundalini flow and release any blockages in the human being body. So we are the Philosopher's Stone. And again, if you want to do more research on this, if you haven't already, there's loads of books there. You can Google metaphysical causes, you can look at acupuncture, you can look at Louise Hay, you can look at emotional healing, you can look at how energy, how the chi gets trapped in the body because of emotional trauma, because of physical trauma. But again, it's all the same stuff on some level, it all ties in together. So look back to what you were doing in 2010. Where were you? What were you doing? Because this is the key for your mastery, whatever was coming up for you then. Because remember, all of these cycles we're building on them. So 5 years from now, we're going to be building on White Wizard initiation, which happened this year. We started a new 13-year cycle of White Wizard on the 26th of July, which is the moon goddess, which is all about letting the magic flow through us and releasing any blocks to that. So again, my focus has always been on the shadow, on the pathology. Some people find that really weird. But that's where the solution is. If we understand what the pathology is, if we understand what has created serial killers on the planet, for example, what caused them to come to such a deep pathology, then that's it. You know, we need to understand the causality, Aquarius focus, solution focused, so we stop doing it. Otherwise, it'll just carry on, won't it? Because that's logical. Okay, so we've got Venus and Jupiter meeting at the galactic centre as well this week, which is at 28 degrees Sag. So Venus and Jupiter, so an expansion of love, expansion of what we value. Jupiter is going to be going into Capricorn in December, so make the most of it at the moment around travel, around it being in its own sign. It's going to be restricted in Capricorn. I'm just finding the degree for you. A witch's ritual dagger, strong, focused intent to create and stay with your own world within the world, being flooded by collective contents and then strategically carving out a distinctive way of being with an emphasis upon eccentricity and maverick ways, being impelled to generate tenuous yet firm boundaries to give any hope at all of continuity and consistency. You are at an advanced and intricate crossroads in development, where you are inwardly blown wide open and outwardly desperate to forge individuality in personal life. The cosmos inundates the landscape, and the one inside the body makes endless small gestures to constitute an island reality that fools nobody and only momentarily keeps the flood tide at bay. So again, focusing on the inner work. That's the key. And anybody who has any of these signs that are in this central column, if you have that as a Mayan sign, then you are a very intense energy. And if you're conscious and if you're awake, key information to know about this. You know, it's really to focus on this. If you're within the blue, even more so, because constantly you're going to be working with your inner child. And again, this is what I love about all of these frameworks, is they really help us to understand and come into our focus around our life purpose, our spiritual path, and what we're here to do, and can help guide us, give clarity, sustain us at this time, find our tribe, because that's again on another level what White Dog is all about. It's about the Sirius star, the Sirius code. It's about what gives us life, what gives us nurturing, the emotions that are released when we do this sort of inner work. We've been holding on to it for years. We have beliefs about ourselves that are not true. They're just based on projections of old family patterns. And when we can get really clear about this and really love and accept ourselves more and more, literally our world changes and everything that we touch changes as well. So it's amazing, amazing stuff. Just want to mention this book again. I think I did it in the last video. Carlos Castaneda's work and the women who are connected to it. This is a great book for revealing process and revealing the getting clear process as well. If you have done NLP on a bigger picture level around your own personal code rather than just the transy power stuff, which I have no time for. I have to say that. No time for it. I just keep hearing it over and over again of, oh yeah, you don't need to go over the story. You don't need to. Of course you do. Otherwise, how are you going to know what your stuff is? You just swish it out, you just move it away. You know, you don't become emotionally intelligent, you don't become emotionally grounded, you don't become emotionally clear. You might be able to rewire your behavior in some way. Absolutely, you can, but you're not really getting to the deep core of what created it in the first place. So if you decide to learn about NLP, I highly recommend that you get really good teachers who are going to help you focus on you first and your own personal healing. And again, with EFT, I do courses on EFT. I do not do practitioner courses because, again, I believe with all of this healing stuff that it's very important that the individual focuses on themselves first and foremost without working with other people, because many times people are out there with all these so-called qualifications and they have no experiential experience to back it up. So, you know, to me, that does not have any integrity. So today, it's all about what needs to shift. It's all about what you see that's still feeling anything other than joy and love. Anything other than joy and love. Anything that's triggering you, anything that doesn't feel balanced, anything that feels, you know, that's still showing up. People are still showing up in your world doing things that feel disempowering, that feel disrespectful. And for yourself, you know, what isn't working for you? Where are you not moving forward? Where are you feeling stuck? Where are you going over old ground? Today is a really good day to focus on that and write it down in your book of shadows so that you create a manual for yourself. In terms of NLP, this is it. This is what NLP really is all about, discovering who you are. In terms of sorcery and Carlos Castaneda, again, it's about recapitulation of your human being story, understanding that we've made a personality story for ourselves in this lifetime that comes from all our family history. It comes from every ancestral bit of that in our DNA. Not that we, you know, we might not be expressing all of that, but it's in there somewhere. And so just to really understand that this map we have as a human being, the map is not the territory. It's not the truth. It's a subjective experience, often that's come from an impoverished way of being from other human beings, often come from trauma, often come from a place of repeating patterns, and it isn't who we really are. It's something we've inherited. It's something that we are repeating until we get to a point of realizing this. And then knowing that we have created it with other people, primarily as a child, we can create something new with other people too. And the more that each person learns how to do the emotional healing process and learn about cosmic codes and become self-empowered, the more that we can create a cosmic shift on the planet. Each pixel, each individual human being getting clear and then projecting out a solution-focused, emotionally free, loving and respectful place where people feel heard, feel loved, feel respected, and experience that accordingly. Be, do, have. I hope you have an amazing shift day. If you'd like to know any more about how I do these codes, about the frameworks that I use, please do get in touch. And remember, tomorrow, set your intention, the blue in the blue, to open your heart. It's Venus, is a planet of blue monkey. Open your heart and just let it all come. Whatever needs to come, let it come now. Stop trying to fend it off. Let it come, surrender to it, and go deeper and deeper. It's what we're here to do. Lots of love at this Scorpio energy time. See you soon. Bye for now.